further, we will be moving on to the very first panel, led by the moderator Juliet from NewTribe Capital, and the following speakers, if they display. So I can already share a little bit of alpha. We got one very big brain. Well, he's from DEXTools. This guy has let's say a phone list of projects that he has been accelerating from marketing to go-to-market strategies. And some of these projects are actually shaping the industry as we speak. So please, while Juliet and the others come on the stage for the first panel discussion.
So anyways, hello everyone. My name is Juliet. I'm a partner of NewTribe Capital. And I'm pleased to see you today because I know we were blessed and challenged by the rain. And despite the weather forecast and that so many events got canceled, I'm really glad that you made it here. Like, we are like heroes. And that means that, you know, Ordinal space and Bitcoin ecosystem is growing and people are still keen to learn more about it. And I'm glad to welcome our panelists. And it's honored for me to moderate this panel. So I'll go ahead with the questions. Of course, please introduce yourself, what you're doing in the space, who you are, and yeah.
Hello, everybody. This is Jinman from Ordinals Capital. So yeah, I'm supposed to bring one water drip, but the whole Dubai is now flooded. So yeah, I live in Shanghai and my company is in Hong Kong. So I have been in this industry for more than 10 years. Basically, me and my founders, we are the very first crypto players in China. And Ordinals Capital was founded in 2017. And before that, we were Bitcoin miner. That's why we pay so much attention on the development of Bitcoin ecosystem. And currently, Ordinals Capital is managing 2 funds in Hong Kong. And we were the first crypto funds that got crypto license from Hong Kong government, SFC. And hope to discuss more later. Yeah, thanks.
Hey guys, it's Wael Rajab. Thank you guys for having me today. Also everybody who showed up, you guys are crazy, walking through the rain or driving, whatever it is. Glad to have you guys all here. So I stumbled in Bitcoin around 2017 and fell in love with it right away. I was doing real estate at the time. I was a real estate agent for Remax and left that completely. I stumbled in DeFi 2019 and then, you know, getting on Uniswap, as a trader primarily, I needed a chart. So I looked quickly and I found DEXTools, fell in love with the product, ended up joining DexForce Ventures. It's the capital arm of DEXTools. We help blockchain and Web3 companies in incubation stage to TGE and after. The USP with DFV, DexForce Ventures, is we're able to leverage the DEXTools platform with over 500,000 users per day. And yeah.
Pretty impressive. Hey guys, Nilotpal this side. We're running a venture fund called Momentum 6, and along with it a few other verticals as well. So we are very closely tied to the exposure market, to the liquidity markets. We run separate pockets of experiments as well, day in, day out, on the fund side. But my journey in crypto started back in 2016. Like before that, I was more on the investment banking side, doing all of the IPO work at the time. But then the sooner I kind of got exposed to the ICO world, life took a complete new turn. 2017, I started a company of my own, which was the first company from India at that time to get a Binance incubation in the first cohort. So I'm more of a founder turned a VC eventually. 2020 is when we started the fund. Me and my other partner, he was a co-founder at Harmony, so we both started it in 2020. That's Momentum 6. And it's been like 5.5 years now almost. We've been kind of steadily growing. It's been a prop cap throughout, but kind of doing well so far in the space. Done quite a bit of investments across the verticals. As of now, the focus is more on AI, RWA, infra, nodes, and obviously Bitcoin, right? Like seen the space evolve from its early days of Lightning Network to Rootstock to Stacks, and now the whole world of Ordinals and BRC20 and obviously the runes, right? So it's been a massive ride, great journey so far. Hopefully we're gonna kind of do some groundbreaking stuff in the space like in the years to come. So yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Hello everybody. My name is Kevin Williams. I am the managing partner of a brand new fund called Sats Ventures. I've been investing in the Bitcoin space for over 2 years, previously at the Bitcoin Frontier Fund, where I've met plenty of you. And yeah, I'm just really excited to kind of start this journey, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Thanks a lot, guys. So I've got a few questions for you, but the first question is like, it's interesting because, you know, I want to know the story behind, like, what was the first, like, you know, reason for you to invest in Bitcoin ecosystem? Because I believe, like most of us, we started investing in this space like long back ago, and then all of a sudden we just realized, yeah, Bitcoin ecosystem is the future, BRC20 is the future. So what was the reason? How did it happen? Because it's funny, like I remember Jade Moon, you were the one who actually explained you very well why it is, because we met in Shanghai last year in October, and you just told me like, and explained it so well, and I want you guys all explain what was your story.
Well, okay. As I talked in the last two questions, so we were Bitcoin miner. Actually, we are still mining Bitcoin in Russia. So that's why we keep close eyes on Bitcoin ecosystem. And but the very specific reason that we decided to deploy more capital on Bitcoin eco is due to the taproot upgrade happened in 2021. So actually, taproot upgrade was neglected by some reason because it was in 2021. If we remember correctly, it was the last bull run peak, right? Everybody was talking about DeFi, Metaverse, NFT. No one were talking about Bitcoin. So the whole crypto community actually ignored the taproot upgrade. But actually, taproot upgrade was extremely important. So either Ordinals or Bitcoin Layer 2 or any other, right now, the Bitcoin Eco benefited from taproot upgrade. Taproot upgrade gave us a lot of better possibility or better opportunity for programmability and scalability. That is after taproot upgrade, so Bitcoin became one brand new Bitcoin. So before taproot upgrade, Bitcoin is only Bitcoin for transfer, for Bitcoin only for digital gold. But after taproot upgrade, so Bitcoin can sustain some Bitcoin eco. It can have Ordinals, some layer 1 asset protocol. It can have native Bitcoin Layer 2, it can have better Lightning Network, RGB, or even gives B2VM possibility. Yeah, that's why we decided to focus on Bitcoin Eco after 2021. Thanks.
Amazing. So we have the opportunity to invest in a plethora of different Web3 products, from GameFi, Metaverse, wallets, pretty much any dApps you guys can think of. My personal favorite is blockchains, investing in blockchains, L1s, L2s. What comes after that is digging deeper into the ecosystem. So with the opportunity that's in front of us right now, for example, Bitcoin, sometimes people think it's out of reach because of the price. Let me give you an example. Monad. Are you guys familiar with the blockchain Monad? It's extremely popular. Most people can't get into it. What would be the next logical thing? Diving into the ecosystem, getting into the dApps, ecosystem partners, pretty much just immersing yourself in that ecosystem. And there's a huge opportunity that I'm seeing in the Bitcoin ecosystem, and that's why DFV, DEXTools Ventures, is deploying more capital in the Bitcoin ecosystem, because you guys are hearing it all the time. We're extremely early. Serge said it beautifully, like DeFi is coming to Bitcoin. Ordinals, they've been exploding. BRC20s, runes, like, you do not want to miss out on the opportunity we have right now. And that's finding the teams that are building on Bitcoin, the dApps that are launching, all these new products. They're existing products on other blockchains, but they're coming to Bitcoin. And you have the opportunity to invest in them. Investing has changed. Web3 has changed investing from traditional investing where it's been closed off. You'd either need to be a high net worth individual, a accredited investor, a VC, but anybody in this room can invest in the same projects that the VCs are investing in. That's getting to the Discords early, being on Twitter as a supporter, sharing memes, pretty much just being valuable. So that's why we're deploying more in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's undeniably the #1 crypto. To Bitcoin maximalists, there's no other crypto, it's just Bitcoin. So we have a huge opportunity in front of us, and it would be crazy not to fully immerse ourselves in the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Awesome. So for me, the story has been a little similar to what Jade had to share, because we've all been tracking Bitcoin from the early days, and it's always been the ethos, right, that we have been very tied to, like the ethos of transparency, the ethos of immutability, the ethos of like for all, by all, culture like that, right? But we never thought that Bitcoin would evolve. Like there has been multiple attempts with someone trying to change the block size, block space, but no one kind of accepted things, right? We always wanted Bitcoin to be the core layer with maybe the grandfather of the ecosystem with no changes to its own. But then again, Taproot, right? That was the biggest change that happened to the space. And beyond that, what happened was we had an unanimous decision that people wanted to kind of upgrade things at that point. Like we created the whole Snort signatures within that ecosystem where it was more about bringing privacy to the Bitcoin space. It was more about scaling the Bitcoin space. It was more about increasing the transactional throughput for the Bitcoin space, right? In many ways. And that opened multiple doors. And again, as what Jade said, like, it opened doors for Ordinals. Like now you can actually mint your NFTs on Bitcoin, right, on Satoshis. It opens spaces for BRC20. Now you can actually have your JSON scripts inscribed on a Bitcoin Sats, which kind of makes you mint tokens on it. Then it further opened new doors of like all these ORC20s, and then like so many others that came in, like CBRCs and all. And now with the major upgrades that we are seeing with the Rune, like I think that's the next big thing which everyone is talking about. I think that's definitely going to be a game changer. We are extremely bullish on the space, looking very closely at that space. But one more thing which I kind of want to bring about in this whole environment is basically the institutional adoption side of it. Because I come from the traditional world before coming to Bitcoin, before coming to this whole space. And now I'm seeing that while there's so many experiments going on, be it on L2s with different ZK, optimistic, BVM, so many kinds being worked upon, but there's still a few missing elements, few missing primitives, which are still to be tackled, like primitives around compliance, primitives around finality security, primitives around the token extensions which your institutions would need for those, for their complex use cases. That's something that's extremely interesting to me right now, and we are kind of building an entire ecosystem within one of my companies called Symbiote, where we are trying to kind of build a bridge between the institutions and the BRC or the Bitcoin world that we have, and trying to build those primitives which can be the building block between all these on both the sides. And trying to work with multiple chains, more like a meta protocol which can run across the chains. Because I feel at the end of the day, all these 70, 80, 90 chains that we are seeing, like they're all having their own nuances which needs to be tackled. And the idea is to kind of not really bent on one, but create a meta protocol which can run across different chains and eventually make Bitcoin the settlement layer for all institutions. Because that's the dream I've been thinking from the day one that I came into the space. I think now we are towards it, and we are very close to that finality. So yeah, that's more like it for me.
I think I have a little bit of a different path to kind of where I am now. About 2 years ago, I joined, at that time, it was called Stacks Ventures. It was the ecosystem fund for the Bitcoin L2 stacks. And we were actively deploying in the middle of an absolute bear market. A lot of the companies that went through that accelerator program actually emerged and pivoted into the Ordinals ecosystem. Specifically, I can mention, I don't know if he's here, the Liquidium team has built an absolutely fantastic DeFi product on Ordinals. And I think for me, the thesis has always been, how can we make Bitcoin a more productive asset? And that means an asset that you can actually use as a denomination to purchase awesome things like digital artifacts, tokens, etc. And then the second thing is, how can you take Bitcoin from an asset that's just sitting in a wallet to an asset that could potentially be generating yield? So for me, kind of looking at things from a really interesting angle, coming from the Bitcoin L2 side, and then kind of jumping into investing super early, day zero, into companies that were building on Ordinals. Now we're starting to see the shift back again into how can we make Bitcoin more scalable. with Bitcoin L1 scalability solutions and also Bitcoin L2s. I think still the underlying thesis is how can we make Bitcoin a more productive asset?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting to see how we are switching from the emerging and experimental ecosystem to the evolving ecosystem where we see right now, and people just realize that they can smoothly operate within the whole Web3 space without even changing their Bitcoin. So we're opening up breaking the barriers, and you just can hold your Bitcoin and do whatever you want within the Web3 space. So that's amazing. And it's really great to hear your story, and now talking about the future, right? So what kind of trends you would love to highlight within the Bitcoin ecosystem? Because I believe it's really hard for people to navigate within the space, and we are as investors, we are those who got this 360 degrees overview on the ecosystem, and I would love you to highlight the future trends within it and what potentially you would love to invest in.
Okay, before we talk about the trend, I would like to talk about the past. Okay, so based on my observation, I would like to divide the whole trend of Bitcoin eco into three sections. The first one is Ordinals, or BRC20. That was happening from the early last year. So the Ordinals BRC20 right now is not as hot as half a year ago, few months ago, because nowadays people are more interested in Bitcoin Layer 2. I mean, EVM compatible Bitcoin Layer 2, like a Merlin chain, like a Bob, Podanics, etc. There are more than 10 Bitcoin EVM Layer 2, including stacks, right? This is the second stage. And the trend, I think, more importantly, is the next stage. So for Ordinals, it's very important because it let the whole crypto community know that, okay, on Bitcoin blockchain, there's asset, not only Bitcoin, but also other Layer 1 assets, including Ordinals, BRC20, Atomicos, etc., Layer 1 assets. And people move their money and move their eyes onto Bitcoin eco. So this is the meaning of, or this is the contribution of Ordinals. So for Bitcoin Layer 2, EVM Layer 2 is more important because Bitcoin EVM Layer 2 can compete with compete with Ethereum or other public chain Layer 2. So actually, we can see that a lot of Ethereum eco projects, they are moving to Bitcoin eco. So either, for example, there's one Bitcoin Layer 2 is called Merlin chain, which is our portfolio. So the most popular swap on Merlin chain is called Merlin swap. That was previously Izumi. That was a very famous DEX on Ethereum Layer 2. So now it's moving to Bitcoin eco. And there is a stablecoin project, and there's a lending protocol project. They are all moving from Ethereum Layer 2 to Bitcoin Layer 2 because the Ethereum, the total DeFi TVL of Ethereum is huge. It's over a few hundred billion. So that's big enough for the current Bitcoin eco. But that's not the the final destiny. So that's not the destination. So the Ethereum is not the destination of Bitcoin eco. So the target of Bitcoin eco should be bigger, should be further. So then I will talk about the third stage, which is the native Bitcoin Layer 2, including Lightning Network, including RGB and BitVM. So recently we have just invested in one project called UTXO Stack, together with Bitcoin Magazine UTXO Management, the venture capital from Bitcoin Magazine. So this project is very interesting. It takes advantage of the whole UTXO stack to build the infrastructure for all those UTXO-based Bitcoin Layer 2. Because UTXO is a very advantageous compared with Ethereum account mode layer 2, because you don't need any cross-chain bridge for for bridging, because both are UTXO. And if you integrate client-side verification (CVS) or off-chain computing, so there will be a lot of new application scenario which cannot be achieved by the whole public chain or EVM ecosystem. So this is very important. So we can anticipate that, or we can expect million TPS Bitcoin layer 2 and a very safe off-chain computing in near future. So this is the third stage or the final stage of Bitcoin Eco. Yeah, thanks.
Amazing. So what I'm fairly bullish on is, and as you mentioned, are the Bitcoin EVM L2s. And where you're able to bridge your Bitcoin onto that said L2 like Merlin or BitLayer. There's a few coming out right now. And you're able to leverage your Bitcoin and maybe get a yield on it or lend it out, borrow against it, all that great stuff. So EVM L2s, extremely bullish on, and undeniably Ruins as well. So we just closed a strategic partnership with Launchpad on Ruins, and we're really eager to, our desk's open for pretty much any Bitcoin-related product or service, but pretty much EVM L2s and anything that's happening on Ruins right now. That's kind of what we're looking at.
I think pretty much has been talked about by Jade. Almost, he's covered the whole spectrum. From my side, like if I have to really break down the whole piece of the puzzle into maybe just 3-4 blocks. So there are three, four major elements that we're looking at. One being the scalability side of Bitcoin. 2 being the tokenization side of Bitcoin, like we need to build tokens on top of Bitcoin. 3 being the security guarantees, as to how can you, like while you scale, how can you make sure that the security is kind of taken care of. And 4th being primitives, which you need to kind of make those mainstream adoptions for Bitcoin. If it's a institutional adoption, then they would need compliances, AML blocks, all those. And if it's a degen adoption, then they might need something in terms of like staking or restaking, LRTs, all of those, right? So fundamentally, if you look at the 4 pillars, so first being the scalability side, I think there's a lot of work going on there, like be the ZK rollups, optimistic rollups, EVM-based, UTXO-based, so much of work is going on. Some projects would be like, let's say, BitLayer working on the optimistic side, and BOBs and the Botanixes of the world working on the EVM side. Then we have Merlin, then a few others working on the ZK side. Then we even have Babylon, which is trying to kind of build something on the UTXO side. That's one of the pillars. The second pillar is more like the tokenization side of it, like how can you build tokens on top of Bitcoin? And that was started with the Ordinals space. Then we moved to BRC20, then CBRC20, ORC20s, and now the whole new shift is happening through Runes. So there's a lot of projects coming up on that space. The third piece of the puzzle is basically security, like making sure that the finalities of your different chains that you're kind of building should be secured. So some projects are trying to kind of create mechanisms where you don't have to bridge, because the more you bridge, the more you create off-chain computing. There are complexities that comes around when it comes to security guarantees. That's the third pillar. And the 4th pillar that we're looking at are the primitives, which you need to kind of cater to the new institutions. So yeah, so we are kind of looking at the whole spectrum that way. And my focus, again, as I said before, is to kind of bring about some kind of compatibility which the institutions can get with the degen side of the world that we're working on, and bring those primitives which we need to kind of build an institutional stack protocol for Bitcoin. So that's how I'm looking at it. We can obviously go deeper into some of the projects, but yeah, I think this is more for now.
So I think we're kind of past this phase of the Bitcoin L2, the ZKs on Bitcoin, right? It's like a little bit yesterday's news. So for me, what I'm really interested in right now is the stablecoin narrative. And there's so much going on, but yet not enough really good companies that are building stablecoins on Bitcoin. So for me, stablecoins is one. And the second thing is we now have even more fragmentation that's going to be coming around, especially with Runes launching. We've got BRC20s, we've got Runes, we've got ARC20s, we've got, I don't know, 10, 20 other standards, token standards on Bitcoin. So you have liquidity that's just sitting there, stuck amongst all these different token standards and all these individualized marketplaces. So I know that there are some companies that are looking to tackle this problem. How can we unify liquidity amongst all Bitcoin token standards and make swaps extremely easy? That's a second thing. The third thing is this new narrative of smart contracts on Bitcoin L1. I'm an advisor for Arch Network, and I'm extremely bullish on what Arch Network is building. But I do know that Lambda is here in the audience. It's really the innovation. So now, we're kind of coming back to Bitcoin L1 a little bit, right? And I think for a lot of Bitcoiners, they're a little squeamish in terms of like going onto a Bitcoin L2. So they want to find the best solution on Bitcoin L1. So these are some of the things that I'm really looking at as kind of like what's going to be happening, and I think the very last part, which I think we also saw in Ethereum, is kind of this layer 0 interoperability on Bitcoin.
Thanks a lot for providing such an amazing insight. So I've got one short question, and I believe it's one of the most popular questions right now. What's the alpha? Give some alpha.
Well, I think the biggest alpha is Bitcoin itself. So the whole Bitcoin eco should serve Bitcoin. And before the booming of Bitcoin eco, actually we can only hold our Bitcoin in cold wallet. And right now with so many Bitcoin layer 2 and so many Bitcoin eco, so actually Bitcoin right now is same as Ethereum. So if you provide liquidity using your Bitcoin to those Bitcoin layer 2 or other stablecoin or others, you will get profits. This is the most important thing. So yeah, hold your Bitcoin and use your Bitcoin to get airdrops. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. The best alpha I could give is invest in the community, or let me rephrase that. Find a good community. Usually it's the ones with the NFT or ordinal used as a token into that community. For example, Sparks. I won't show the ones I'm in, but finding a great community, and I'll be honest, usually the ones you have to own an ordinal or an NFT. And the good thing about that is you're not just selling a one-time fee. You can sell the asset, the ordinal, the NFT, if you're not a fan of it, or and sometimes for a profit as well if it's moving upwards. But finding a community with like-minded people that are have their eyes, their ears like wide open for everything Bitcoin, everything Bitcoin ecosystem, BRC20s, Ordinals, all that great stuff. You will more than likely, and this isn't financial advice, but you get 10x to 100x, 10-fold to 100x your investment in that ordinal. And it could be meeting one person, it could be networking within there, it could be hitting a meme coin, but definitely investing in a community.
Yeah, I think community and Bitcoin, the core of it is something that we should all look at. Apart from that, if you need just very quick alpha, then I believe look at the runes ecosystem. It's kind of popping quite a lot. There are rune pups, rare stones like rune stones, and so many others which you can quickly look at and make some maybe quick money. Apart from that, the community is the biggest piece. Like make sure that the community that you're kind of aligning with is extremely it's completely in tune with what they're building, and they're kind of supporting them through and through. Apart from that, I believe liquidity, cross-chain liquidity would be a massive thing, and possibly Babylon could be a big play in the near future with the whole staking ecosystem being opened up by them. So I believe, yes, if you have Bitcoin liquidity with you, just make best use of it right now. And yes, look at the runes ecosystem. There's a lot going on there right now. Yeah.
I tell everyone this all the time, is look at very closely at the history of BRC20 and kind of how BRC20 rolled out, all the deploys, all the mints, and then how that naturally progressed into all these amazing airdrops, digital artifacts, artists coming onto Bitcoin. And I think we're gonna see a very similar historical cycle with runes. Now, the difficult thing is, are you gonna really be able to get into like the number one, the order of runes? Are you gonna really be able to mint that this time around? I think it's gonna be quite tough. but I think generally the alpha is really around runes and really around pre-runes, right? So all the collections that are launching, which are effectively giving you a certain percentage of the total allocation of that runes token when it launches. Some of these collections are being fudded quite hard, but if you do want kind of a potentially confirmed allocation in a new runes token, I think it would be a good opportunity for you now to jump onto Magic Eden and be able to purchase one of those pre-runes. Not financial advice. Thank you.
Such a great summary. Thanks a lot for coming, guys. Thank you.